Hi, my name is Steve Andrews, and I'm here for ultiworlddiscgolf.com and skybreeddisc.com. And today I want to talk about something that's really important that oftentimes people say you really can't teach, and that's timing and tempo. So what do we talk about when we're talking about timing and tempo? Well, when I talk about timing, I'm talking about how all the parts of your body work together to get your throw both efficient and powerful and online. So imagine that as you coil up, right, you have a certain amount of energy inside your system. Right inside the system you have of your pulleys of your arms and your legs. And as you move from your feet and your hips into your upper body, you are conserving as much of that energy as you can to get it into the disc. Sometimes you might even be accelerating it as you add a little bit of an arm swing in the final stages of it. But the problem is, each of these parts is like a relay race where a baton, in this case the baton is the energy you've stored up, is handed from joint to joint as it moves out. From your ankles to your knees, to your hips, to your shoulders, into your elbow, into your wrist, into the disc. And the problem is, at each one of those places, there's an efficient way in which the energy can be held off and you kind of maintain that energy, or an inefficient way, right? So the thing I think you want to think about is you're powering it from the lower body forward. And you really want to think about a connection between this front foot and your wrist or your disc, right? So if you're here, you want to think about this connection that as your foot is coming down, you're turning through. And you want to make it nice and smooth. I think there's a lot of times where you get people stand in a position like this, right? But the problem is you should never be in this position, because by the time your foot is down, you need to be pulling through. So you want to feel this connection between your foot and the disc itself, right? So be able to brace your foot and then turn through it with your lower body coming through. Now, there's a lot of places where people make mistakes, and sometimes it's you pull hard from the beginning of your beginning of your forward stroke, or you don't get your hips in place and you just roll the shoulders, right? You kind of spin out. That your shoulders, your hips aren't leading the way and your upper body's doing it, right? The other way is more common, I see this a lot, which is that you get kind of a squat and pull. That instead of turning through, you get your foot is down and then you yank, right? So a lot of players can be in a good spot where they've coiled and then they get here and then they basically just try to muscle it through. It'd be like a baseball pitcher throwing with their foot landing and then they throw their body, right? If you look at a baseball pitcher, the foot comes down as you're coming through, right? Everything is connected and it flows really smoothly. Well, so you have this connection and that's your timing of getting everything to work together. And then the thing that makes it work is your tempo. Your tempo is the overall speed of how you're going to do it. Danny Lindahl very famously has a slow is smooth and smooth is far, getting people to throw more slowly. And that's generally good advice, to throw more slowly. But you don't want to be slow just because slow is better. You want to go as fast as you can, because that's also the key to power. So the question is, how fast can you go while keeping your timing? Most people, when they start to speed up, and if they go too fast, they rush through it, and the problem is as you get quicker, you can't get everything to fire in sequence, right? Top players have the ability, and this is one of the things that makes them top players, is that they can go at a very fast tempo and have everything happen in sequence. They have the neuroplasticity, the ability to be able to fire everything in the right order while still going at a very fast pace. I don't. Most players don't have that. And so then you've got to find the tempo that you can get it all to work. And this is one of the problems, is when you go into your swing, right, which is kind of I'm doing a short version of 1, 2, 3, 4, right? That's your normal pace. But if you come into it quickly, here's what happens, right? 1, 2, 3, 4. And the problem is that let's say you even get to this position. My hips are turned, my stance is closed, that's all good, but look where my shoulder is in relationship to my hip, right? My shoulder is ahead of my hip. I can't brace. And if I throw from here, I'm going to be rolling over, or because I don't want to lose my balance, I'm literally going to be pulling back while I throw. And so that is always the problem of going too quick. 1, 2, 3, 4. Like, this is a place where a lot of people get, and the problem is you can't throw from here. And one of the solutions is not just to go slow, because even if you just go slow, 1, 2, 3, 4, I still have the same problem. The problem and the solution that I found that has really helped my swing is to change your tempo. And that tempo is to go 1, 2, 3, stride. 1, 2, 3, 4. Really feel that there's that point in that swing where you are lengthening that last step so that you can get a 1, 2, 3, 4. And now I'm in this position to throw from. My foot is ahead of my shoulder. I can brace into that throw and throw that way. Now, you can see a lot of players get to that position, right? This extended stride position. And this is where you get for, if you look at players like Eagle McMahon or Paul McBeth, they have this kind of almost pyramid shape in their feet. Now, I can get as moving here into that position where I can get this long stride, but to be honest, I don't want to throw from that position because I think if I threw from that position, I'm in my 50s, I've got a torn ACL in my right leg. I think my legs might fly off like a American Doll stuffed with dynamite, right? So you don't have to really stretch to get that effect. Even if you're slowing down 1, 2, 3, 4, and you're getting that position, you can just get ahead of your foot if you don't have that much flexibility. You can work on your adductor flexibility in your hips to get more of that step, but even just slowing down to that tempo, you can get those kinds of throws. And when you look at some top players, sometimes in their full swings it's hard to see because remember, top players can move really fast and still fire in sequence. But there are other places where you can see players like Valerie Mandujano who can throw this way, and you can see that they move into this throw, move into these steps, and then have a longer stretch in that final position before they throw. You can also see players like Simon Lizotte at the European 2022 European Open. There's all kinds of shots when he's throwing under power. He's not throwing maximum power shots in which you can really see this tempo of 1, 2, 3, stride, 1, 2, 3, 4. So try that out. I think it will help you set your tempo better. And if your tempo's going good, then also your timing can be better. And you can really brace into your leg and get some really great shots. Thanks so much.